I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's news update for Thursday, May the 15th, 2014. Two Palestinians were reportedly killed during violent clashes with Israeli security forces outside the Ofer prison near Ramallah in the West Bank today. The clashes erupted during Nakba Day riots in the area, the date Palestinians mourn the establishment of the State of Israel. According to the Jerusalem Post, Israeli border police and IDF soldiers reported confronting a very serious and life-threatening riot. The IDF was investigating the incident. In their first meeting since the collapse of peace talks, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry sat down yesterday with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in London, where Kerry said that the door to peace was still open. According to a State Department official cited by Reuters, Kerry stressed to Abbas, however, that it was up to Israel and the Palestinians to take the necessary steps to walk through that door, and also urged that both sides refrain from any unhelpful steps. The official said that during the two-hour meeting, Abbas also updated Kerry on political developments on the Palestinian end regarding the unity deal between Fatah and Hamas, and said Secretary Kerry reiterated the need for any Palestinian government to recognize Israel, commit to nonviolence, and abide by previous agreements, and thanked President Abbas for his public commitment to these principles. U.S. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel arrived in Israel yesterday. He met today with Israeli Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon. During a joint press conference, the defense chiefs restated the strong bond between Israel and the U.S. Ya'alon, who has faced criticism in recent months for his criticism of U.S. foreign policy, said that even if there are disagreements along the way, they cannot overshadow the ironclad bond we share. Hagel will also meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli President Shimon Peres. A Tel Aviv court judge today accepted a plea deal from Shula Zaken, former bureau chief to former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert. Olmert, as we reported to you earlier this week, was sentenced to 6 years in prison for accepting bribes in the Holy Land land development case. Zaken was also found guilty in the case, but testified against Olmert in order to reduce her sentence. Judge David Rosen, who also presided over Olmert's hearing, reluctantly agreed to the plea deal. He said that while Zaken deserved 5 years in jail, he agreed to the reduced sentence of 11 months. U.S. President Barack Obama announced several new key administration posts yesterday, including that of Eric P. Schwartz, who was named to the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom. Schwartz is currently Dean of the Humphrey School of Public Affairs at the University of Minnesota. He previously held positions at the State Department and the UN. He is also a member of the Board of Directors of Refugees International, the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, and the Jewish Community Relations Council of Minnesota and the Dakotas. The first public Holocaust education center in Romania is set to open in the town of Sighet, the childhood home of Nobel laureate, author, and Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel. The Holocaust Cellar will open this Sunday and will be part of the Holocaust Museum in the town. It is being sponsored by the Romanian government, the city of Sighet, the Conference on Jewish Material Claims Against Germany, the Romanian Jewish Federation, and Limud FSU. Wiesel said he was honored that his beloved home will be a place where people can learn about the crimes of the Holocaust. He said the opening of the Holocaust Cellar supports my life's efforts to ensure that humanity never forgets the evil that took place there and throughout Europe. And an archive of thousands of restored Jewish books and documents from Iraq will stay in the U.S. for an unspecified amount of time. The archives were found by American troops in the Iraqi Secret Service headquarters in Baghdad in 2003, where much of the documents had sustained great damage and have been restored since in the U.S. at the cost of some $3 million. The archives were part of the exhibit Discovery and Recovery, which first opened at the National Archives in Washington and then moved to the Museum of Jewish Heritage in New York City, and were supposed to be returned to Iraq. However, several Jewish groups, including the Orthodox Union, the World Jewish Congress, the Anti-Defamation League, the American Jewish Committee, and Justice for Jews from Arab countries, had advocated for keeping the archives out of Iraq, allowing for them to be accessible to the Iraqi Jewish community living across the world. And yesterday, Iraq's ambassador to Washington announced that the exhibit could stay in the U.S. for a longer period of time. Ambassador Lukman Filey said this exhibit has led to an increase of understanding between Iraq and the United States and a greater recognition of the diverse heritage of Iraq. He said the stay was extended in order to continue that important work and allow for it to be displayed in other cities. Taking a look at our Shalom TV programming for tonight, May the 15th, Harvard Law Professor Alan Dershowitz joins Mark Golub tonight on L'Chaim at 9 o'clock. That's here on Shalom TV and ShalomTV.com. And that's our Shalom TV news update for Thursday, May the 15th, 2014. I'm Teisha Bader.